Well, for my very first You Gotta Have Hart vlog, I guess it is, whatever, I don't know what the kids are calling it, I'm gonna go completely unscripted. I know that originally my plan was to have some vague script, just sort of talking points, but I'm just gonna go completely unscripted. And this was the whole issue that made me think I should try doing videos like this, is the whole Neil Young Spotify thing over COVID misinformation. So what happened was, it is right now, I don't know the date, it's January 30th, I believe, Sunday, January 30th, 2022, yes. And the issue was, this past week, Neil Young sent a letter, I guess, to Spotify demanding that his songs be taken off of Spotify if they wouldn't remove Joe Rogan's podcast. So I don't know a whole lot about Joe Rogan. To me, he had like a minor part in that sitcom, what was it, News Radio, which is kind of funny. I used to watch it, but he had like a minor part in it. But it seems like he has parlayed what little fame he had into a few things, and now he has, I guess, the top podcast currently. And the problem is he is spreading misinformation about the COVID-19 pandemic that we've been under now for almost 2 full years. Millions of people have been infected. Millions and millions of lives have been affected. And I don't know how many people have died. Millions? A couple million? I don't know. It's kind of too depressing to really stay up on the numbers. But, I mean, it's a real thing and it's happening. Okay? Whether you want to believe it or not, it's a real thing and it's happening. Okay? I've heard all the conspiracy theories. To be perfectly honest, I've actually looked into a lot of them, because not that I believe any of them, but it's fascinating how people can make themselves believe things. So the biggest conspiracy theory was that this whole thing is made up by the government. And to me, it's like, okay, wait a minute. So you're saying millions of people across the entire globe, the entire earth, doctors, and I understand that somebody could say, oh, hey, this is what it is, and then some people taking that as fact would believe it and help perpetuate. I totally get that. Okay, but millions of people are all in cahoots over this thing, and I'm like, but to what end? It has cost lives. It has cost, I don't know, billions of dollars. Economies are tanking, have tanked. It has destroyed businesses. I don't understand what the end game is, let alone how can you get so many people on board and keeping it a secret. I don't know. So at any rate, that's sort of the first conspiracy theory that if somebody can explain that, please do. But anyway, so I guess he's spreading misinformation about the vaccine and about the effectiveness of masking and things like that. So I don't know exactly, I don't listen to his thing, but I've heard it from people people that I know that I thought were intelligent, rational people. So before we even get to the Neil Young, let's talk about some of the conspiracy theories, the misinformation, okay? And I'm going to show you why it's very clearly misinformation that's being spread and perpetuated. Okay, so the masking. I've heard, oh, masking doesn't do anything. It doesn't help. It doesn't stop the spread. Well, first off, there's been studies, and now that we've been in it for almost 2 years, they've shown that masking works. Okay, but let's be perfectly honest on a very basic level that I think everybody can fully understand. Okay, let's say I have a cold. I have some sort of a virus. Okay, whether or not you believe in the COVID and all of that. Okay, let's just say I have some sort of a sickness, an illness that can be spread. Okay, and I'm talking to you, and I'm 2.5 feet away from you, or 3 feet away from you. Kind of a normal people sitting talking. Okay, and I sneeze. Okay, everybody has sneezed and went achoo and had stuff all over their hands. Okay, so you sneeze and stuff flies out of your nose and your mouth. Okay, of course. So I sneeze, and even though I put my hand over my face and sneeze, okay, let's face it, everybody has sneezed and then had gunk on their forearm or down their shirt or something. Okay, because your hand isn't exactly a great protector and catch-all of all the stuff that's flying out when you sneeze. Okay, now, if we have a cloth mask covering, okay, sure, some might squirt out the sides or whatever if it's not a real tight-fitting mask. I get all that, okay? But I think everyone can agree that if I sneeze with nothing protecting me, with nothing covering my nose and mouth, and I am 3 feet away from you, it's going to go all over you. Okay? Germs, everything. If I have a mask, whatever the mask is, anything at all, it's going to stop the vast majority of the stuff flying at your face. So how in the world, I would love somebody to explain to me how they feel that masks don't work. Okay? Now, the other flip side of the issue is, oh, well, germs still get out and people can still be infected. Okay, great. So let's explore that for a second. So in other words, you're saying that somebody sneezes or coughs or just talks, whatever. Okay, I mean, everybody has seen somebody that, like, say it, don't spray it. You know, they spray some stuff while they're talking. Okay, so let's just say, okay, so the mask it's not 100%. I get it. Okay, and some germs are going to get out, and some, you could become infected by some of those germs. Okay, if that's your thought process, then, and I understand that, okay, if that's your thought process, then you're going to be infected in a store. You're going to be infected on public transportation. You're going to be infected walking to get your mail if somebody walks past you breathing. Okay, you're going to be infected anywhere and everywhere there's any other human beings that could have the virus. You could become infected. So if you say, oh, well, masks don't work, okay, then basically you're saying we're all doomed because everybody's going to infect everybody because the masks are useless. Like, and I don't understand that because there are people that haven't gotten sick, okay? I had it, I tested positive for it, and I understand I took a home test, okay? Even if I took a test at some place, could the test be flawed? Sure. Could the test be fake or a fraud or something? Sure. I've wondered, I tested positive, and I've wondered, did I really have it? Okay, I'm vaccinated and boosted, and I had a scratchy throat for like 2 days, and I felt slightly just weird. Not tired, not sick, just kind of like a little just, like something's kind of weird. Like, am I coming down sick? I don't know. Am I just a little tired because I didn't sleep well one night? I don't know. But it was unbelievably mild. Okay, so I've questioned that. But, so I took a test. Okay, I had it. And I was infectious prior to testing because I had symptoms. That's why I took a test. My wife said, you should take a test. I was in close proximity to 3 other people in my house, 2 of which are on medication that suppresses their immune system. And nobody in the family got it. They tested negative, and they had 0 symptoms at all. Nothing. Not even a scratchy throat. So I don't think we're all doomed because you're just going to get it everywhere. Masks work, okay? I'd love to hear an opposing opinion, like point out holes in my theory about the masks. But to me, masks work, okay? Now let's talk about the vaccine. The vaccine, people like, oh, well, the vaccine, it's untested, it's unproven, it was rushed, all of this stuff. Okay, so we're in the middle of a pandemic, a global pandemic, the entire Earth pandemic, and the smartest minds on Earth are working to solve this, okay? So it's kind of like if one person moves rocks, it takes them a week to move rocks, okay? If 7 people are all moving rocks, they can do it in 1 day, right? That just makes sense. So instead of 7 days for one person, you can do it 1 day with 7. If you have 14 people, you can do it in half a day. Okay, that just makes sense. And then, of course, there's the, like, well, look on this can of cleaner. It says, kills coronavirus germs. It's like, they've known about this. It's been planned. Yeah, the coronavirus, SARS, has been around. It was first, the coronavirus, my understanding is, it was first identified in 1960, or the early 1960s. So 60 years ago, it was identified in humans. So 60 years of knowledge, not necessarily intensive research into it, but it's existed. And there's been outbreaks already. So there has been research into vaccinations on it. It just got ramped up the last 2 years, of course. It's believed that it's been around for centuries. It was just first identified. So it's not a new illness. It's been around. And the vaccine process to develop a vaccine has been around. So this isn't, sure, was it rushed? Well, I guess, but it's not like they just went like, oh my gosh, what do we do? And everyone scampered around and somebody just stumbled on something, okay? All the building blocks of this vaccine have been in place. So it's not a new concept. It's not this like random vaccine that somebody just kind of threw out there and they're just like, well. So anyway, so back to the Neil Young thing, okay? So Neil Young, he said, I want all of my music taken off of Spotify if you continue to have Joe Rogan's podcast on Spotify. So it was basically an ultimatum because of the misinformation that is hurting people that Joe Rogan is spreading. okay? And I get it. He has a podcast. It's super popular, and he's raking in money hand over fist. I get it, okay? And you know what? If you have stuff on your podcast that's super controversial, you're going to be making more money. I get it. I don't know whether he believes it or not. He says he does, but it could just be to make money. Who knows? So Spotify said, okay, we'll take all your stuff off, Neil, and I'm on a first name basis. We'll take all your stuff off, Mr. Young, and we're sticking with this guy because, you know, he's making us tons of money. So again, tons of money, making money. I totally get it. But you know, Neil Young is doing morally the right thing, okay? And I can't believe the people that have jumped all over him, like, oh, freedom of speech, he's suppressing this. And no, he's exercising his freedom of speech. And not only that, he's backing it up with action. He's doing something that he believes in, okay? Whether you believe it or not, whether you believe, you know, the vaccine is a microchip, then the government's gonna track you, whatever you believe, Neil Young believes something, and he's making a stand in doing something about it. And I just heard on the news that it seems, I heard, that Spotify, their stock or whatever, they've lost $2 billion because of this whole thing. So I'm glad, because I gotta go with Neil on this one, and he's trying to save people, okay? He won't tour until he feels he's safe and his audience will be safe, okay? So he's losing money. There are bands that are out touring. There are plays that are going on. There are shows that are happening because people want to make money. I get it, okay? He's literally not going out on tour because he doesn't feel safe. He's losing money. So I got to side with him on this one. And if you have any contradictory arguments, I would love to hear them. If you found this at all interesting, subscribe and like and comment. Let's start some discussion. I would love it. And share my video if you found it at all interesting. And I guess that's about it. I think I've talked long enough for the first little installment of You Gotta Have Heart. So there we are. Thank you.